Hey everybody, this is Tony Gordon from T. Gordon Salon Talks. Today I want to introduce to you my guest, Sam Bewley, who is the son of Don and Beth Bewley from Eufora International. Today he's going to tell us all about his entire experience, which is kind of like my experience a little bit. Absolutely. And tell us about beauty products and what Eufora is doing in the big marketplace. So welcome.
Thank you. It's such an honor to be here. When you asked, I'm such a big podcast fan that I immediately jumped on it and wanted to be a part of it. We're both Joe Rogan fans, and what a cool environment for us to just talk in a open-ended forum about different topics.
It's
so thank
true.
you for being here.
I am a Joe Rogan fan, but I have to tell you, half the time I'm like right there, like listening, yeah. And the rest of the time I want to kill him.
What shifts your mood there so much?
I don't know. He's just really sometimes very extreme. You know, he's either extreme to the right or to the left, or he's talking about conspiracy theories and then he's stopping people from listening to conspiracy theories. It's sort of like all over. He's an old comedian, so sometimes he's funny, but sometimes it's not funny. I mean, it's all over the place and you can't pin him down, and that's why maybe he's so popular and guys like us are listening to his thing.
Absolutely.
But, hey, if I can be the Joe Rogan of podcasts and YouTube, that would be fantastic. Let's make it happen, people. Subscribe now.
I do.
You miss the whole music scene?
I do, just because it's such an outlet of passion and fun, and playing live shows, that energy you get, is unparalleled. So I do miss it. I do still play with a band from time to time, but you got to find the right time for it. So
I'll ask you: is it true that musicians get more girls?
Absolutely not. It depends, I guess. We weren't the Ed Sheeran style band that today is popular.
You got to sing love songs.
Love songs, things about heartbreak. I don't know. Today the music types and the topics are a little suggestive of what people are gravitating towards. But
yeah,
and guys like Ed Sheeran are killing it. It's crazy. You're just a couple long-haired kids playing Zeppelin and Foxy Lady and stuff like that. So it was fun.
Yeah. Well, what do you think about this new Queen movie that's coming out? Any day now, this thing is going to be like all the rage for the rest of the year.
Yeah, absolutely. Queen has been one of my favorite bands. Brian May is a guitar player, huge influence on me. I even bought some of his equipment to sound more like him, but you just can't. It's in the fingers, And one of my favorite documentaries growing up is this 30-minute series that would happen on VH1 Classic, I think it was. It's called Beyond the Record or Classic Albums, that's what it is. And it goes with the recording engineers and the artists, and they break down albums like The Doors' first album and Pink Floyd's Dark Side of the Moon. So they did Queen's A Night at the Opera, where Bohemian Rhapsody's on. And what they did with that from an innovation standpoint is outstanding. And they're going to cover that in the movie, if you've seen the trailer where they are doing the chanting for the Bohemian Rhapsody.
Yeah, I saw it.
Section.
I think it's going to be really big. I think they're going to get some Oscar nominations for sure over the movie.
The guy playing him looks very much like him. I mean, that's not a dude that looks very similar to anyone.
They're going to go head to head with Lady Gaga on this one. With Have you seen that? Her new movie. No, I haven't seen it. I got to see it.
I guess Bradley Cooper. So he's been. I think he plays a drunk in it, or I don't know. I don't want to spoil it because I don't know what I'm talking about.
Well, he's the one who creates The Star Is Born, right?
Right. Well, as the title would influence, but I guess he learned how to play guitar and sing and piano all within a year.
He's good.
Yeah, but he dedicated it all to a year, and he directed it, and he's starring it. So people are saying it's phenomenal. I have to see it. I'm a big movie fan. So
my sister did his hair. My sister's a hairdresser. Did his hair for one of his movies that he did, and says that he's just absolutely a great guy.
Yeah, he seems like it.
Yeah. Remember in the old days, guys were getting all sorts. They were even getting perms, right? This would be something your dad did.
Is that a word?
Now, your dad was Don Bewley.
Don Bewley, yes.
Yeah, and famous hairdresser, famous guy, right? Tell us about your dad. Tell us about him.
Gosh, the funny thing about my dad in an industry-related podcast like this is, growing up, I never saw him in that light. I just saw him as my dad, and amazing, funny, charismatic guy, just joking all the time, and being such a great leader of our family. So when I finally get older, your perception of things changes, right? At first, your reality is only what's in front of you. But then you really start having comparison to other realities and other things and other truths. So
your parents become, wow, they're really people. They're not just this like king on the hill. Yeah. What did you discover about Dad?
Well, he was always a relatable guy. I mean, if you'd be sitting here with us talking just like this, but growing up, I saw him build this company and this group of people that were just so passionate
Eufora.
and eclectic. Eufora.
I love the name.
Yes. Thank you. I love it too.
I want a Eufora, a couple of them.
You want a Eufora? Well, I don't know if we have a single one. Yes, Eufora, kind of the derivative word there. But, the thing is, I didn't really work with the company growing up, intern and things like that. But after I joined the company and really got involved, I was never with my dad on that level of working together. Mm-hmm. So the cool thing about my role now is there's a lot of people who he did touch and influence. And I get to learn more about my dad in these conversations every day from his mentality of business. So I think that is a really cool gift that never stops giving. So I'm really grateful for that. Yeah,
it's interesting. Give me one tidbit. I remember seeing him on stage in New York at Intercoiffure, and man, you're right. It's like he's up there talking to this room full of people, but it's like he's having a conversation with you because he was just one of these very real people.
Yeah.
And, I'm sorry for your loss. How long ago did he pass away?
It'll be 3 years coming at the end of this month. Actually, next week, I believe.
Yeah, same for me.
Because
right my dad and your dad. Window. It's interesting because I think, we're both the sons of really famous guys in our industry. Mm-hmm. And it actually is a really difficult thing to be. Actually, maybe it was good that you went off and did something else for a while.
I think so, yeah.
But do you
That's
find,
perspective.
This is what I find also is that you have to make your way in this industry because so many people knew your dad, so many people knew my dad. Mm-hmm. Maybe it's what compels me to do this crazy podcast. I don't know.
Yeah.
But it's great because I get to have these conversations. And so what is it? What is it about us who are the sons of famous guys who are having to fight our way into our own existence in a way? You have to find your own way. What do you think about that?
I think we have a lot in common on that front. And, coming in, you look at who your dad was, right? So, Don for me, Jared for you, and you look at what they did and what they were known for and just beloved by so many. And you do see, where you can be your own person. And there's a lot of times where you're held to a certain standard maybe. And I got some really great advice from some mentors. One of them was a partner of ours in New York. And I asked him, hey, someone coming into this industry, what's one thing that you would tell me, a couple things that you would tell me? And they're from New York. It's like, just don't come in here like you fucking know everything. And he said this. I'm like, A, I love you for just being that real. But B, that's true. So I never wanted to come in feeling or acting like I knew everything. I really wanted to be a student.
Yeah.
And just find your own way. And another mentor of ours as a company and personally just says, I can tell when you're emulating this. I can tell when you're emulating that. But my favorite you is when you're being yourself. So learn from everyone, but channel it in your own way. And I think maybe you can relate to me on that side.
Yeah. Now, do you have a specific title in the company?
I do. We're not a huge title company. I'll be giving tours of our office. I'm like, this is Charlene. She does a lot of great stuff. And I don't know what the title is. Charlene, I love you. But technically
the Prince
manager.
The Prince is not your title? Okay.
The Prince. No. The Prince of all things. That would be great. I don't know. What could I get away with that title? No. I'm a regional manager.
So Mom is the queen.
Mom is the queen.
Mom's still there.
Mom is still there.
Is she now is she taking on that lead role of really the CEO rather than the queen?
So my parents had such a great working relationship as well as a marriage because they really complement each other in so many ways. Mm-hmm. So my dad was always the face, the outgoing, the director of education, the passion, the fire, where my mom is just such a dynamic businesswoman, leader, logistic execution master. So you take this fire and this passion and you match it up with that. And that's really where you get the flame that, has really given the Eufora Nation its backing. So my mom, in the sense, has always really been the operating CEO. So of course, when my dad passed, the light shifts, right? And now she's shifted into the public persona, where she will say, I was always comfortable behind the scenes.
She was the one getting the product on the shelf.
Oh man, she knows every part of that business better than anyone. She is absolutely the smartest woman I know. She's amazing. And I'm not just saying that because she's my mom, but partially. But she's always been running the company. So I think when my dad did pass, there was this perception that, the leader's gone, what's going to happen?
Right.
And rumors spread. I mean, man, I heard so many things like, Don passed away, so we can't buy Eufora anymore. I'm like, what? How does that even function in any type of logic? But, my mom has really done a great job stepping up.
And you guys are a big company. You're in multi countries, right? You're in this is not just an American or North American company.
Correct.
Where are you guys selling at? You're in...
So we, North America, United States, and Canada. Really, our backyard. Doing, that's the strength.
That's the core market.
Yes.
It's North America. Yeah. Okay.
Then we are in the UK with Passion for Hair, an amazing distributor. Debbie Digby, Daniel Anderson, really aligned in our passions, and they operate in the UK and Ireland as well. A couple in Europe. Smaller things going on. South America, we're breaking into, and Japan. So we were all actually just over in Japan with our distributor out there.
Oh,
so
fantastic.
That was my first time there. It was absolutely a different way of living and culture and people, and it was really eye-opening.
Yeah. I've been there. It's an amazing place. So what's going on with Eufora? I mean, what's really happening with the company now?
There's a lot. I'm really excited, and if I just look, and this is something my dad would always coach my mom on, you're always looking at your end goal and where you are in comparison to that. And of course, micro goaling is a way of doing it, but we are very ambitious of what we want to accomplish as a company. So we always think to ourselves, we're not there yet. But if you look at us last year, the year before, and just the year before that, it's crazy what these last 3 years have, what's come into fruition. Really, I think my dad would be so proud.
Is this because of your influence? I mean, you've really come into the business in the last 3 years.
3 years, yeah.
And before that, you were in tech startups. You were deep in the whole California scene of tech.
Yeah, I was with a tech startup. They were an established company, but they had a really great new technology that we're treating like a startup. And it was really eye-opening for what that industry is doing, how fast things move and change and shift. And
it's frightening.
It is.
Even Elon Musk is frightened, okay? He's even giving dire warnings on artificial intelligence and everything else that's going on.
Well, that guy can just blast off into space and be safe up there if it comes down to it. Well, I guess that's what they're working on is fast speed travel. Were you telling me this?
No.
On the phone? No.
No, but I want to know.
So instead of, we both travel a lot. Instead of going from San Diego to New York in a 6-hour flight, you're actually going up into the atmosphere, and within 22 minutes, you'll land in New York.
I think either Virgin or Blue Origin is working on that.
Okay.
That's their angle.
Is that not a Tesla SpaceX thing?
I don't think that's Tesla or SpaceX is mainly focused in on getting satellites into space. If they are doing that, I don't know about it. It's possible.
Who knows what they're doing? He's always doing these different things. I know. Did you listen to his podcast on Joe?
On Joe Rogan? No. I saw where he was smoking pot on.
All the memes.
Yeah. Do we have any around here? Okay.
Keep it away. Shut off the cameras. Just kidding. In California, that'd be fine. But I forget where we're going. Oh yeah. So from the tech industry, all the crazy stuff going on, and then officially came to Eufora about 3 years ago, and have just gone on a whirlwind journey of learning and contributing where I can, and just being, servant-minded and always asking where I can help. And through that, you learn, right? So these past 3 years have been growing in a different way. Our company has always had a really strong stance of who we are, but oftentimes growing you get pulled in different directions and try to fit in square pegs to round holes to make things work.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, you can't compromise who you are. So in these last 3 years, we've really solidified our vision, who we want to work with, what we believe, and we're really getting loud about it, which I love. And some of the people that we're partnering with are just exactly who we want to work with and we've always wanted to work with. So if my dad was here, I think he would be so proud and just have that sense of accomplishment. If that's what we wanted to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
it's
really
super
exciting.
cool. Super cool. And where do you see it heading in the next 5 years or so?
Next 5 years, I think the trajectory of where we're going is exactly where, if we look at our growth, if we look at the types of salons that we're working with, the growth that we're having within them, I think if we just continue what we're doing and strengthen it overall, in the next 5 years, what we can expect is Eufora Nation that...
I love that. Eufora Nation.
Eufora Nation, that's what we call them, our amazing people. And we have the best people. That's what makes our company. It's not our product.
So the product is, certainly there's a wet line. Kind of describe the different divisions of the line for me.
Sure.
What's out there?
I really consider us 4 different brands if you break it down. We have Eufora Core, if you will, which is our wet line, all of our promises that are very prescription oriented, if you will, solution oriented. So we have our promise for curly hair curling, our promise for smooth hair smoothing, our aloe therapy promise, which really focuses on the technology that we derive from the aloe plants. We have beautifying elixirs.
That goes way back.
Aloe?
The whole aloe idea was the original concept.
Yes.
Going back to the late 90s, right?
Yeah. Aloe has been a huge part of our company, so much to where sometimes I forget to talk about it because it's just been around for so long. But if you look at some of our original products that have been with us since the beginning, they're still our top moving SKUs and people love them because... maybe not just because the aloe, but the other botanical ingredients and extracts in there. But aloe has been a huge part of our story for a long time.
Right.
Yeah. In the early days.
Skincare, no.
Skincare, no. I mean,
makeup?
No.
Hair color?
Yes.
Perms?
Yes.
Wow.
And we also have our Hero for Men men's line.
Men's line.
Yeah, and then our 4th brand that we really treat separately is our education programs. So those are our 4. So you have our Eufora line, Eufora Hero for Men, Eufora Color, and Eufora Education. So that's how I would, in layman's terms, kind of break it down. Yeah,
and you fly these educators in from all over?
Well, we have a couple different tiers. Can I be Italian with you real quick and use my hands? So... we have a very multi-layered system. The Italian going all over. So let's see if we can paint the picture. Anyone who's not watching and just listening, hopefully,
that's
you can get a part of it.
But you'll be able to find this on YouTube if you're listening. This is also on YouTube, so you can see the wonderful face of Sam here.
Oh, well, thank you. I wouldn't go that far. So it's really multi-layered in the sense that, right from the get-go, we grow an educator within the salon, our Eufora Salon Specialist program. Quarterly, we train them, and that's designed to be a brand ambassador, if you will, in the salon. So that's our first tier. Then we have regional educators that live in local markets and do in-salon classes. And then we have our national trainers who, like you said, fly from all over. These are... people, we have about 27 now, I believe, that are just the cream of the crop. They're multi-trained, they're cross-trained. They really are a huge part of our company. Really, I would say one of our strong heartbeats. And they're doing hands-on classes in markets, usually about once a quarter. Then you have our academies, our San Diego Academy, our Toronto Academy.
These are beauty schools?
Not beauty schools, our advanced academies.
These are advanced academies.
So these are 3-day hands-on intense courses that you can come, and that's really what my dad was really passionate about. Giving that systematic approach to education that gives you the confidence behind the chair, and that's the game changer, in my opinion too, because there's so many different types of education. There's trend out there now. There's everyone looking for online. But when you're sitting there with a master of their craft, coaching you in a 1-to-8 ratio environment, that's where things change. That's where I feel like careers really blossom as well. Then, of course, we have our big cultural events like Global Connection and Vision Quest. And those
Where
are
those?
just... oh, gosh, these are my favorite. And this is, when I was growing up...
These are big fashion shows, right? Yes.
So when I was growing up, this is how I knew our brand. Because I would be, 10 years old, 12 years old, running around these shows, everyone's passionate. Everyone's.
Did your dad bring you up on stage?
Oh, sure. He always wanted to have me play guitar on stage during his cutting and stuff.
Whoa.
So I did a few times. It was fun. It was really fun. But that's where, we have Global Connection, which is really the full dose of everything we have. Those 4 brands that I broke down, that's where we give our all. It's our cultural event.
Where's the next one?
San Diego in February.
Ooh.
So actually coming up very quick. So that's one of the things I'm really excited about. But, and what I've seen and what I've experienced, which I think as you get to know me, I focus on what we do. If you look at the industry, I'm always aware of what's going on, what other people are doing. But I grew up in Eufora, so I'm not an expert in anything else but.
Yeah.
So I don't know what other people do, but what I've heard is you do have these big fashion shows, these hair shows, and there's a lot of that main stage action. There's creative ways of cutting. There's avant-garde stuff that's on stage. It's entertaining. It's inspirational. And that inspirational thing side of it is very important. But where we were really passionate about is, if they're coming to Global, they need to leave with something that they can implement. Not just inspiration, something tangible.
Yeah.
So we do our hands-on breakouts throughout the event. Anything from razor cutting to barbering to we're doing a photo shoot class this time. So all these different real tangible hands-on breakouts, which are almost like mini versions of our academies if you think of it, so that there's true empowerment that comes. And that's what I love about Global, and I think that one of the many things that sets it apart. Right.
It's interesting, there's so much change, like we talk about technology, but it almost seems like the hairdressing industry, although it appears that there's lots of technologies that are nipping at the edges, in a lot of ways it really comes back to this one-on-one relationship, the relationship of a client that comes into a store. How can your hair and fashion impact your mood, your feeling? Like, these are really consistent themes going back a long, long way, right? And this is the way you're talking about it actually reminds me of that in a whole lot of ways. It's very cool. I wanted to ask you, in this, what is Eufora doing about, the technology of, say, Amazon, and how they're impacting and kind of nipping at the retail advantage that a lot of salons have?
Sure. And this is a very controversial topic, and we have a very strong stance on it. But if I could step back for just a second and say, I wasn't around, but I learned from those that are, or that were. If you look at our industry and all the threats that have come, whether they're phantom salons or discount beauty stores, the Ultas, and there's always been these threats that just get deemed as the doomsday of the industry.
Yeah.
And through all of that, our industry has prevailed. Salons have grown, stylists have grown, brands have grown, being salon professionals. So Amazon's one of those. It's a very powerful one, and we can't ignore it. But what we see here is, I think, a lot of, dare I say, excuses for why salons can't be profitable and sell retail. So, Amazon's doing it. It's like, okay, well, there was this before, then there was this before. Amazon doesn't have your clients in the chair for 45 minutes, 2 hours, whatever it is.
Right.
And what would Ulta pay to have your guest in their store, one-on-one undivided attention with a consultation for 45 minutes? What could they do with that, So I think those are the conversations.
They tie you up to a chair with tape.
Yeah, expensive tape probably. Then they could buy a bunch of stuff. But so there's all these different threats and avenues that nip, or whatever you want to call it. But when it does come to diversion in Amazon, I think the big thing that we have to
is that mostly what it is, you think? Is diversion? I mean, I see all kinds of brands on Amazon, but they seem to be like third-party players are selling this brand and that brand, and they're out there. Like, it looks like they're selling. I've never tried to buy anything off Amazon, only books, but never beauty products. But if you go on there, does it? Can you buy Eufora?
It's on there.
It's on there.
That's where I was leading to. There's two different arenas here. So the one arena is third-party sellers, aka diversion, if you will.
Right.
So these are through any various channel. They get a hold of the product, they put it up there, of, Jerry's Beauty or whatever it is.
Yeah,
and
death to them. Yes.
So that's
no diversion.
That's the version, right? But then you have brands that partner with Amazon and become a preferred vendor. So you have verified product on there, and they have a professional beauty tab where, if we had a computer here, I'd walk you through it, where you can go on and you can see all the logos of all the brands that have partnered with Amazon through this channel. And there's a few different telltale signs of how you can tell a third-party seller versus a partnered seller.
I didn't know this. Yeah.
So anytime that you see Eufora on there, and some things are obvious, like there's a picture with it's like in a driveway, like a picture of our bottle. It's like, yeah, we're going to put that up there. Come on, guys. But then the main things we have to look for is, one, if you go on the professional beauty tab, you'll see all the brands on there that partner. And those are all preferred vendors. So they're shipping product to Amazon warehouses, and that is legitimate products. So to tell the difference is, if you go to that product page, what you'll see is the product image, and always look for the professionalism of it. Some of the version is professional too. There's kind of a couple different layers. There's the mom and pop shops that sell beauty products. They get some tires, some car batteries, whatever else is in their store. But then you have the ones that know what they're doing.
Yeah.
They have a channel. They have like a fake account set up as a salon, and they find their ways of getting it. So what we have to look for is, if you go to any product brand or any brand in a certain product, if they're partnered, you'll see a few things. The one thing you'll see is their official logo at the top of that page. You'll see
that brand's logo.
That brand's logo at the top of the page. On the right-hand side, you will see a little tag. It's like a dark gray that says professional or salon professional.
Okay.
And then at the bottom, you'll see other things that are related to that salon professional, like a locator, a couple tips, and things like that. If you go to a product that's not partnered, you will not see any of that, and you'll often see the seller be, Jermenza's Beauty or whatever. I don't know where that name came from, but you'll see who it's really coming from. You can click on their store and go, and you can read the reviews too. A lot of people even say, this isn't what I got at the salon. This is expired. I see packaging from '04 up there, So those are the big things to look for. And that's the scary thing, is these partnerships are happening, and they've approached us many a time.
Right, Amazon
They continue to.
Yeah.
And they show us all the product going through there. And they're like, that could be yours. And we see the financial opportunity there.
Really? They call you up and try to solicit you guys to do it.
And we've talked to them because we want to know more. And this is how we know this stuff.
Yeah.
So, but what we see is not just these short-term decisions. When you partner with something that powerful, I'm looking at chapter 6, 7, 8, 9. We're in chapter 2.
Yeah.
So what happens later when Amazon's collecting all this data of what consumers are using?
Yeah.
And they're a private label company. There's so many little niche brands that you think would be on Etsy and have their own branding and imaging that Amazon has created through this data analysis. So there's I remember the name of it. This
is like
brand.
Seriously dangerous for a lot of companies, actually.
Well, I don't think people know, and I just don't think
because
we're
you're
looking
right.
at
We're in
chapters down the
chapter
road.
2. You're right. We're in chapter 2, and when you get into chapter, like you say, 6, 7, whatever that is down the road, who knows what Amazon's going to actually do with that?
Yeah,
that information.
Well,
they can easily market something back. It doesn't have to even be called Amazon, like Amazon shampoo. It could be called something else, and they're just really connecting with your client.
They'll find out what works. They'll find out packaging that people are gravitating towards, create a new brand name around it, and that will be put under professional beauty. And what we're already seeing is, if you search for a product and you're checking out, so you get a dry shampoo, whatever you get, there'll be a sponsored ad from Garnier Fructis, from whatever there is, saying, hey, if you liked that, this is a cheaper option, a better option. People also loved this.
Right.
So we're already seeing professional brands feel that impact.
So does that mean they're advertising on that page, or but are they not necessarily partnering? So it's just like a banner ad that people are clicking on for Garnier Fructis, like that kind of thing.
I mean, they're on there. I mean, they're going to take whoever pays the most money to put that ad out. Right. So I'm assuming Garnier's partnered. I don't know. I don't want to make assumptions. But whoever is paying for that ad space, and
Right.
with that data and knowing that consumer and their online behavior, they can, market you and take you away from your salon professional brand or recommend Amazon brands. I mean, we were talking about, what happens when you say, Siri, I need this product. And
Yes.
they're going to recommend their product because they got more margin there.
Right.
And that's
Well,
a
when
better decision for them.
when you say Siri, I need this product, or
Alexa,
Echo,
there it is.
Alexa, I need this product. I need toilet paper. You know what? That brand is going to be an Amazon brand.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and because you're only looking for one answer, you're not looking for page one of a search query, which has 10 responses on it.
Yeah.
Because it's talking to you, it's literally giving you one. So, hey Alexa, put a case of toilet paper on my shopping list. We got it, and they go ahead and do it. When you place your order,
Absolutely.
there it is.
And a lot of these brands are pulled in by this temptation. One, financially, it's a boost. Let's be real. But two, you have price control, you have image control.
Yeah.
And these are the things that they, are in these meetings with manufacturers to get them to partner. But I'm proud of our company that we've seen through that. And
Yeah.
we have a very strong stance, which we've titled purposefully defiant, where we're saying, like, listen, we're not partnering there. We don't ever want to say, or have to have you say behind the chair, oh yeah, you can get it on Amazon too, and that's good product and that's verified. That's not what we want to give access to. So we stand up against it and we fight, and we've successfully shut down about 60 to 70% of those unauthorized sellers on Amazon through legal action and cease and desist letters. And we have a team at Eufora that's always looking out for that. So a lot of those mom and pop shops, we got a call to Eufora, and it's this lady who has an Amazon store, and she's like, please help me. Amazon shut my store down because they said I couldn't sell your product on there. And, that was one of the many things I sold, like dog bones or whatever else she had. And she just didn't know. So there's that side of it. But then there's the people that know what they're doing, the professional diverters that aren't threatened by the legal action because they understand the law and they understand the loopholes that they can take.
Right.
So that's currently what's still up there. So it's unfortunate, but it's a fight that we don't want to, if you can't beat them, join them. We don't want that mentality. We want to keep fighting.
Yeah,
so that's the stance we've taken.
I love it. It looks to me like that's the way that a lot of the top manufacturers are going with this. I just had a conversation last week with Aveda, and they are kind of doing the same thing also. Saying, nope, none of that. We're not, anybody who's out there is really a third-party seller. And it's really important that maybe the industry actually bands together a little bit to, for at least the high-end products that are out there, to just really shut it down.
Yeah. Can you?
Can you?
Can we? I don't know.
As much as we can.
But we can, I think there's a mentality in the industry too sometimes when you look at the giants and the big stores and the big brands partnering with these stores, and that, I can't do anything about it. I'm just a salon owner here. How can I have an impact on what Ulta does or Sephora does or Amazon does? But, that's the mentality that's going to be our demise, I feel. That's why you have to partner with brands that believe what you believe.
Right.
And if that's what you believe, if you, are against those Ultas and Sephoras having professional beauty products, because that hurts your business, then you can't support them.
Right.
That's not helping. And it's actually enabling them to do it, right? Because they've seen that, a lot of brands that have gone that way, and now they're in Ulta and they're still in salons because they've learned that they can, and people will treat you the way that you let them. So I know that's a little rebellious sounding, but that's how I feel.
Yeah.
So if we don't take action, who will?
Right. Fuck them. We gotta fight them. We gotta fight them.
Yeah. and that's the everyday fight amongst many other
Amazon's become like, Amazon is the silverback gorilla, in our lives, all of our lives. And it's on one hand, it's probably saving the American public a bunch of money for cheap stuff. But on the other hand, it's just it's helping. I guess Walmart started all this, destroying American storefronts and business and retail, and we need to bring it back. We have a lot unfulfilled stores in the United States.
Sure.
And so maybe we'll see if it can bring it back. Maybe we just need to buy more. I don't know what it is.
Shop more locally.
Maybe we buy, I don't know. It feels like we buy enough.
But to that point, why would Amazon be having brick and mortar stores put into major cities if there wasn't still a need for that experience of being in a store, with the products and experiencing them right there? Why would they be doing that?
I think the salons have the best of the world, the best world of it all. Because, like, for instance, in our salons, we're about 80%, this is an approximation because it depends on which store, but about 80% service and about 20% retail. Mm-hmm. And that mix right there is just terrific. It's perfect because the clients, they are always going to consistently come in. Mm-hmm. And, if you've got your company set up right, you're going to make profit selling services and selling retail. And then it becomes a symbiosis and each one supports each other.
Absolutely.
So they both add to retention and to productivity and to the bottom line and to the top line and everything else. And, so I just think that salons and businesses that are primarily service, but have a percentage that are retail, no matter what it is, if it's a massage or a tailor or whatever it is, mm-hmm. if the ratio is right, they can absolutely fight the silverback Amazon, absolutely the monster in the room. We can fight them if you have that right mix. And a lot of manufacturing companies have brought in that, they've tried to bring in that service mix. Mm-hmm. Like even Home Depot now has, if you want to use one of their repair guys, you can, so they,
interesting.
I think it's certainly been a challenge. It's not simple for them to go from retailing a product to offering services as well. That's probably a little bit harder. It's a little bit easier on our end that own salons to have a service and then suddenly tack on a product with it as well.
Well, there's a demand for that service, so you have the traffic there. And
mm-hmm.
Something that we look at is when we're coaching salons, let's look at your transactions and really what we're doing with them. Mm-hmm. Like it's that same argument before. If Ulta could have the same amount of transactions that you have with the same amount of time, what would they do with them, right? Mm-hmm. So you have that automatic flow coming in.
Yeah. And
now it's just what are we doing with them? There's so much opportunity, and I'm sure you've crunched numbers in your business and you just look at the potential. You're just like, oh my gosh. I sat with the salon and she had 18,000 people a year coming through the door. And, she showed me her retail numbers. So we calculated out average retail per client. I'm like, you're about 88 cents per client. That's nothing. That's not a travel size. That's not a sample packet. That's nothing. And there's so much opportunity for them to really capitalize for their business mm-hmm. and really for their client, because how many people do you know that don't get the professional recommendation and don't go to the right stylist recommending, that have a whole list of products under their sink because it's not the right fit for them. Mm-hmm. So they're trying to save money and they're trying to get a different deal or buy it online or do whatever, but it's not the right fit. So it's actually costing them more and they're not happy with it. So mm-hmm. there's a service that we have to complete with our clients and our guests that if you're currently not, I just think you're missing a huge opportunity for both of you.
Right.
The thing that we've been really blessed with is finding chemists that are experts in their fields. The first chemist that we worked with came to us and said, I know you guys are looking to do something different and, have the integrity in the product. And what I'm going to do for you, no one's going to be able to touch you. And that's when the aloe story came out. Where most shampoos, you look at the first ingredient, it's going to be about 75% of that bottle. It's going to say water or agua or whatever it is, where we don't, and so the active ingredients in that bottle may just be that 15%. So what we do, instead of putting water in, we use 100% certified organic aloe vera gel. We've trained our educators on that exact dialogue that makes that bottle 100% active. So another way we give confidence to stylists making that recommendation, because aloe is an amazing plant. All the restorative benefits, the regenerative benefits that we can have, and water at the core of it is dehydrating.
Yeah. Cut myself, burn, boom, aloe vera all the time.
Do you really?
Yeah.
Do you cut it off the leaf or do you have like gels and stuff?
I have gels.
Okay.
I do have leaf also, but if I didn't,
Yeah, it's really amazing stuff, and it's been part of our story for 20 years now, coming up on 21 years. Which
so
is
you get
crazy.
it down to, you can get it down to a form. I know I'm really geeking out here with the tech on this. So you can get it down to be like different viscosities where it can be viscous, like really thicker, or really thin. So it spreads like you want a shampoo to spread.
Absolutely.
Really easily, but not necessarily with a conditioner. Maybe it has a different sort of consistency to it.
When you look at the formulation process, there's a lot of different ways to go about it. So I'll just give a couple examples. One, we have our shampoos, which are about 70 to 75%, 90% of them. Then you have our conditioners, which are substantially more aloe, but we're able to do certain things with that aloe plant, like harvest the stem cells. So when you break that aloe plant, what happens is, and maybe you've experienced this, that leg of the plant, that arm of the plant grows back so fast, right? It's like a lizard tail almost, which is a weird image, but it's true.
It's true.
And,
it looks like that too.
We had our chemists look at this and say, okay, well, that's those stem cells at work. And they're producing...
You're talking my language with stem cells.
Stem cells is cool
I had
stuff.
stem cells done in my knee and my ankle, and I'm telling you, it's like
revolutionary,
50-60% better.
Wow.
Yeah, seriously.
I don't even know where to go to get that. We may have to have a different conversation.
Yeah.
That's interesting. But yeah, stem cell technology overall is cool. What we found is we can harvest those stem cells, which have potency up to 1,000 times. That plant's growing up to 1,000 times faster than the rest of it. Now, what we can do is train those stem cells to deliver certain benefits. So for example, we have our aloe mist where you're upping the potency of that aloe, and it's in a mist form. So it's not a gel, it's not a lotion or anything like that. But those aloe stem cells are at work, one, delivering more oxygen to the skin. Actually, that's in our thickening regimen.
So hold on. So this is, the aloe is impacting the skin or the hair and the skin?
Oh, it's
so
great
it's
for
the
everything.
scalp, but it's also the hair itself.
Absolutely. The moisturizing benefits, right? Because water is, at its essence, dehydrating on a surface level. But both. It's good for really any part of your body. There's even aloe juices out there for ingestion. That's not a market that we're in quite yet. But
aloe juice.
Yeah.
Very popular. Very popular. Really suggested for a lot of people.
Yeah.
Actually.
And it's one of those, I think what we've seen, sorry to cut you off there, but from an ingredient standpoint, what we've really seen is a lot of these historically amazing potent ingredients and remedies and medicinal benefits of different botanical ingredients really coming back into popularity. So, we've been doing this for 20 years, but we're really seeing a belief in, I don't want to say homeopathic, but different remedies. Like activated charcoal is another one that people are using for all different types of things. This has been around for years, so it's really interesting to see the shifts that people are making back into it.
Right. It's interesting to me. I once brought home some flaxseed gel, and my grandmother, who was a hairdresser, said, flaxseed, we used to use that as a setting lotion when I was a kid. Now, she was in her late 70s when she told me this. When she was a kid, they used to use it as a setting lotion. Flaxseed, they would boil the seeds and then use it for pin curls and that kind of thing. That's the way they did their hair back in those days.
Interesting. Hey, whatever works.
It's so true.
But there's a lot of power in naturally derived botanicals that I know that your history in the industry and the brands that you've partnered with certainly believe that as well. So it's been interesting to see the whole market and demand take a shift back into the naturally derived and the clean. And I don't want to say green or sustainable because I feel like there's a lot of buzz there, but just clean, and the efficacy of these naturally derived ingredients is really powerful. So there was a time where synthetic fragrances and synthetic solutions really dominated, but now this natural route's taking over. Anything from medicine to hair care to skin care, and it's really good to see that we're able to harvest that technology in a way that makes it that powerful.
Yeah. That's really fantastic.
It's fun stuff.
Yeah. All right. Well, Sam, thank you so much.
Thank you.
It's great to have you here. I mean, Eufora is a fantastic product. I really appreciate you coming out and telling us your whole story. It's really great.
Thank you. Anytime. It's a pleasure to be here.